Hey you guys, Jeremiah37X here bringing you a different Epic Battle Fantasy 5 kind of video this time. As you can see here, this is actually our first peek into the version 2.0 update for EBF5. Currently it is available to, the beta is available to Patreons. After I believe a week or two it will go to Steam, more of a public beta, and then I believe sometime in December is going to be the full release for 2.0. I'll talk more about my plans on covering the update at the end of the video, but this video basically is going to be describing every single new thing in this version that I know of at least. I'm not going to be showing, some things, there's a lot of examples of them. I'm just going to be showing a few just to give you a general idea of how much content this update has actually added. So without further ado, let's hop on into it. First, an easy one. He's added, I believe, 31 new medals to the game. As you can see, the screen's quite a lot bigger. As a result, he's also added 2 more rooms to the Grand Gallery, one for, I believe, 80 medals and one for 90 medals. He's also added the custom game feature here, which presents a number of different ways that you can vary a playthrough, basically. This is not locked. You don't have to have beaten the game to do this. It's recommended that you play through the game normally first. Firstly, we have the foe remix. Different foes appear in each battle. Generally, the game's harder. This is not randomized. This is a specifically designed remix where each encounter is in some way changed. Weather remix, similarly, it's not randomized. Different weathers are in different areas. Particularly bosses, I imagine this would be a pretty big... There's some really tricky weathers you could throw into some of these fights. Equip remix, basically every single equip in the game has... It's completely redesigned. Most of them probably won't even resemble what they used to be. This, I think, is currently not working as of the Patreon beta, but obviously it will be working in the full release. Random equips. All of the... I think every chest that has an equip will still have one, but where they are is randomized. And this, of course, is different each playthrough. So this is the only one that is not predefined what it does. Scaling foes. Optional areas give XP. Basically, every single fight will be scaled to your level. This can be good and bad. Basically, you can't over-level, but if you're doing a challenge run where you're not refighting enemies, then this, I think, is strictly a good thing. Plus, it allows optional areas to actually continue boosting you, so that one's kind of interesting. And these ones, lastly, basically, this will allow you to enter a fight, and you will only be able to use this many plays. You can choose, I think, who goes into each fight. We can actually take a look at that. Well, maybe not, because it's just going to be starting us at the beginning. But basically, if you do one-play battle, every single fight, you will only be able to take in a single party member. So, pretty restrictive. You cannot switch between those mid-run. But as you can see here, randomized equipment, we start with random stuff. So this is what I happen to start with here. And you can take a look at some of the stat and equip, like the redistributions of some of the new equipments. Let me see if I can hop into a fight and notice anything immediately different. Since we only have one party member, this might not work yet. But either way, you kind of get the idea. It's also foe remix, so our first fight here, it's just a slime bunny. Yeah, we only have one party member, but you kind of get the idea. Basically, if you enable all of these, it's going to be almost like playing a completely different game at this point. On top of the custom quest feature, if you check the options, there's also now cheats and challenges, where basically you can more specifically tailor the difficulty to your liking. But even beyond that, some of these are just completely unique effects that you can't find anywhere else. A lot of them are pretty straightforward. Foe resistances, basically they're going to be less or more resistant to certain elements, certain status effects. By adding this, a lot of previously cheesable strategies will no longer work, such as more foe resistant, introducing immunity to siphon to some of the nuke enemies, as well as immunity to instant death, which basically are the main ways that you would typically take care of nuke-related enemies. So that's just one particularly scary example. A lot of these are pretty straightforward. This cheat is one that I really like. Basically, any character can learn any of the extra skills. So, for example, if you wanted to, put heal more on Lance or something, you go right ahead. He's got no problems with it. I think anyone can learn anything that you want, which is quite cool. This is one I suspect I will be using a fair amount. Cowardly foes, they surrender and easier to capture. This is good if you want to do like a pacifist run and make it a little bit more reasonable to do. Let's see, what is some status antibody? Enemies gain resistance to statuses whenever you inflict them, so eventually they will become immune to it and it won't work anymore. So this is gonna really force you to do some serious planning before you just start throwing status effects on bosses. Foes always act first. That one's irritating. Where's the other one? Counterattack. Foes will counterattack you. This is one I'm particularly scared about. They have a chance. Sorry. Just like how when you get attacked, some of your equipment can counterattack the enemy. Now they can potentially do that to you too. And of course, each foe has different counterattacks, so that's more, you know, robust content. Foes don't respawn. This one in particular is going to be good to comp. It might be if you're doing this challenge, you will probably want the auto scaling custom quest equipped. If you're starting a new run with it, just because I think they kind of complement each other pretty well. Turn time limit 30 seconds. It ignores animations, which is nice. This is one that kind of scares me. You guys know I really like to plan out my turns, maybe to a fault. So yeah, basically you can just use, if you really want to go crazy, you can do this. And I will kind of be doing this on Twitch, which I will talk about later. But that's something I'm particularly scared about. So yeah, very interesting ways for you to, besides the custom quest changes major aspects of the game. This kind of changes the more minute stuff that can help you tailor it to how you want to play the game. The most robust part of the version 2 update is where the full new area lies. Basically, this area in Red Pine that I had previously suspected was kind of suspicious. This is apparently this counts as premium content also. The air currents that were before preventing us from going down this area south of Red Pine, it is now accessible to you. If you check the map, you know, we're going to be going off the map here. But basically, this is the Great Sea. Has the kind of glitch area music playing, which is an interesting choice. So you see, south is the battle arena and data bunker. This is a maze type area. If you have tips on, apparently it'll kind of show you where to go. But I have the instructions written down. So you go down, left, down, right, and you see also there's some pretty nice looking little decorations around here. Normally there'd be dialogue here and stuff, but I've already done this. I've already gone here before. Down, left, you can see some new terrain started to appear here, and then I believe it's 2 downs, and then we're there. So this is a completely new biome. It's really beautiful too. I love the look of this place. As you can see, there's a couple shops here. No steroid shop, but you got all the other ones. You got some, you know, there's normally like some enemies around here. I'm just kind of doing this to show you guys quickly. There's a new slime cat, a very adorable little guy here. So there's a brand new fast travel here in our hub room. Very nice. Takes place, of course, after all the other ones, because, you know, where else would it go? I don't know if this is locked to any specific point in the game. I don't think so. So you can, as soon as you get to Red Time, basically as soon as you beat Poseidon, you can come here. So to our left, we have the data bunker, which very briefly, normally there'd be an encounter, you had to fight something to get in here. This is basically, originally, I think he was calling it the Temple of Time. He redesigned it to this data bunker where there's these old computers where basically you can hop into simulations of the first 4 epic battle fantasy games. So you have 2 computers for each game. You only start with the first one in EBF1 and the first one in EBF3 unlocked. These ones are 2-player, as you can see. Your first 2 party members are the only ones that will enter the fight, and they're the only ones that you can use at all in the fight. We can take a quick look at some of the enemies here. Oh, I think actually I might have... Just a moment. I think I might have something enabled that I haven't talked about yet. Yes, I do. Okay. Ignore that. We'll be getting to that later. Okay. We got War Mammoth coming in to help us out, I guess. But basically, each of these fights simulate how the gameplay was at that point, you know, to some extent. Basically, in EBF1, there was no evading or accuracy at all. So you see they have an evade of 0. Attacks will always hit these guys. They will always attack you. There's nothing else to it than that. The status resistances, they are immune to any status, I believe, that didn't exist at the time. And these guys have no weaknesses because a lot of the early enemies didn't have weaknesses. We can take a peek into the EBF3 one. I'm not trying to show off too much of this stuff yet. You know, there's a lot of content here. I haven't worked through most of it yet, and I'm not trying to spoil too much about the version 2.0. But this one makes me really happy. These slingers were some of my favorite enemies in the third game. So you see they're a little bit more fleshed out. You know, they got evade, they got some weaknesses, they got some resistances. Basically, there are 52 new enemies in this game, or in this update. A lot of them are found here. There are returning bosses as well, or mini bosses from these games. I'm not going to say what any of them are, but we will get to them eventually. And some of the enemies lie in some other areas that we will get to right now, actually. So over here we have the data bunker, but to the right, to the east, I guess, we have the battle arenas, which are basically solo dungeons for each of the characters. There's 5 of them. Each of them contain 10 fights. You can only go in with one character of each, you know, there's one for each character. Let's go ahead and pop into one. I actually haven't stepped foot in any of these before. So let's actually look at this. Oh, that was pretty cool. Okay, yeah, I actually have not gone in here before. So, I didn't realize that. Actually, you get to choose which of the fights you start with. That's pretty neat. Okay, so let's, so, as you can see, it has limited our party down to 1 person. You have access to all your equips, except ones that are equipped to other party members, which is kind of a little bit strange. You can't use summons, also, is the other main gimmick of this area. So let's just hop into a fight here. These are kind of like puzzle encounters. Basically, if you die here, it will actually, you don't game over, you just get kicked out and you could try the fight again. So as you can see, can't use summons. All you have are the items you bring into the character, and that's it. They, I think, automatically scale to your level. These are all optional areas. Yeah, they're kind of like puzzle encounters. We just have to think. You really have to think about the best way to address each of these fights. They're all one wave. But there's a lot of planning that has to go into it, because this game is fundamentally designed for multiple party members. So when you strip that down to just one, you gotta really weigh your options. Especially as far as, you know, what extra skills you want to give to them. There's a lot that can go into this. And like I said, each encounter has 10... Each character has 10 separate, distinct encounters. So this area alone has 50 new battles. Just this one area introduces 50 new encounters. 100 if you count the faux remix ones. So that just this area, these 2 areas alone, shows you the kind of content we're looking at here. There's an entirely new dungeon outside of the data bunker and the battle arena. There's a more, I think, traditional new dungeon. It's actually in the library here. You see there's actually an entire new pathway inside of the library. And this houses the, I guess, the library dungeon. I haven't explored it much, but he's shown off some of the paper-related enemies that you'll find here. This presumably is the end goal, is this mysterious floating sheet of paper. So it's just another optional, I don't even know if this is a premium dungeon, actually. I didn't see the sign outside it, so I think this is just accessible now. So again, this is, I'd say, like the third very robust area that's been added. And that's just counting the main areas, not to mention all the small areas. And, yeah, there's a lot. I mentioned earlier that there was some other new places that you can find enemies besides just the 2 new areas that were added. As it turns out, as you explore the world, you'll notice some oddities, some new areas, some new secret, just like one-off rooms have been added to the game. This is one such. There's, I believe, 12 of these in the game, with these kind of arcade machine encounters. This one in particular is a little bit more robust. This one has a quest in it. Also, really quick, I'd like to mention there are, I believe, 4 new quest NPCs that were added in this update. But yeah, basically, each of these rooms has a... This one in particular, this one has a puzzle, a quest, and the retro encounters. This one's actually quite substantial. But if we take a look, I'm not going to show off all of these. Like I said, there's 12. Basically, these are they're kind of mini bosses. I've done, I think, 4 or 5 of these on stream so far. They're actually really hard. These guys in particular, you can see their gimmick is they have pretty low HP but very high defense. Most of them are immune or very resistant to the major debilitating status effects. As you can see, they're immune to stun and they're 80% resistant to freeze. They're all immune to instant death, as far as I can tell. You have to do some serious planning to be able to take these encounters down. These guys are no joke. And there's a good number of them hidden around the world. I can show off one more that immediately comes to mind is the one over in my opinion is the most interesting of the pixel foes that I've encountered so far. If we go over here into the Rainbow River, this is an interesting location for one as well. It's actually hidden right over here. There's no, the little guy didn't pop out here. Let me try going from up here. Yeah, there we go. We got this little pump. They're hidden, but normally there's little visual cues like that that will clue you into where they are. So this is a more typical, I would say, of these like little arcade rooms. Most of them don't have a whole lot besides the encounter itself. And yes, this is against some friendly little pumpkins here. They're very nice. I'm sure they don't do anything too bad to hurt you. So yeah, there's 12 of these. Of course, you can catch them all as summons. Most of the new summons will fill in gaps, such as, I think, one of them is just an 80 attack debuff to all enemies. So, the new summons are meant to fill gaps that were left in the original game, basically major status effects or debuffs that were difficult to inflict before. Another major, I'd say pretty major additional collectible are the cards that you can see here now. Basically, you get these, I think, exclusively from treasure chests, so how it works is that if you're playing a save that you've already collected a chest that has the card in it, if you go to that screen, you will get the card automatically. So a lot of these cards I haven't even picked up myself, they just have appeared in my inventory. Basically, these give boosts to these 4 specific different modifiers. Basically, you have gold gained after winning an encounter. You have enemy surrender chance, I believe. You have enemy capture chance, and you have bonus SP. So you see my SP is actually 200. I have 15 extra SP from my cards right now. Increases party's max SP by 2. There's 3 different tiers. You have the basic, the advanced, and then the expert, which boosts by 1, 2, or 3, respectively. So here's just a few of them. Oh, sorry, this is damage of summons. Oh, I didn't know that, actually. That's pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, I actually totally didn't know that. Yeah, so there's, I think, what, 52 cards in the game? Wait, no, sorry. 50. It's 50 cards. 50 cards in the game. Just one of the many new collectibles. You can see there's a lot of effort that went into these. Like, each of these has a very nice pixel art sprite work done for it. It's got a little description. These are very cool. I'm a huge fan of these. They have types even, too. I'd love to see some sort of, I'd love to see this, like, card system expanded on. Maybe even, like, a spin-off game. I don't know. I think there's some potential here, personally. There's been a notable amount of equipment rebalancing. Oops. I can show off a few examples of that. Basically, underpowered equipments have generally gotten buffed, and some of the overpowered equipments have been nerfed. A few things have just been changed in a good handful of ways. A lot of this stuff I don't remember exactly what it used to do before, but I know some of these were ones that some of the people in my Discord have mentioned were changed a lot. So this is just an idea. What was the other one? Masamune has changed a fair amount as well. So that's just a few examples. A lot of the equips have been changed around. In addition to that, there is also some new equips. If you go to flares, you see there's actually 3 pages of flares now. I've only picked up a few of the new ones, but here's a couple of the new flares that I've come across. This one also is another rebalance. I've noticed Amethyst Earrings, I believe, used to just give Dispel resistance, but now they actually give you a good chance of inflicting Dry, which is nice because Dry is very hard to come by through normal gameplay, at least. And in addition to that, there's also been some new skills. Let's see, how many new skills are there? I want to say there's, let me see, hold on. I think it's here. 12 new skills and 2 limit breaks. So here's a few of the new skills I've picked up so far. Acid Blast, AoE Magic Bio Attack that debuffs magic defense. This is getting buffed in the future. Bubble Ring, 200 power, damage type based on the high stats. Siphon, that seems really strong to me. Reaper. This is, I believe, about 70% accuracy, but it's 150 chance of instant death. You know, obviously quite useful. I got one of the new limit breaks here, 7 swords, physical AoE holy attack, that also siphons. There's been a good handful of new ways to siphon. I think that's all the new skills that I have. Oh, and Sand Dune, which is an earth attack, physical, single target, dries, debuffs accuracy. Pretty okay. The drying chance is kind of low for my liking, but still very nice to have more ways to inflict dry. And the only other notable change in balance I could find for skills is that all of Natz's spells have gotten buffed. These, I believe, used to do 80 damage on AoE and 140 on single target. They've been buffed considerably. As you can see, the AoE 80 to 90 is not huge, but 140 to 180 single target, that's quite a lot. So this applies to her 3 main magic attacks, as well as Shockwave, Gaia Blossom, Bubble Blast, and Energy Barrage, which are all kind of use the same damage scaling, and is what Acid Blast, I think, was intended to use. So this is going to get buffed to 90 and 180 later in the beta. Yeah, so Nat's single target attacks are quite a lot better. Her AoEs are a bit better. Those are the notable, at least, skill balancing changes, and those are the only skills that I've gotten so far. Again, I wasn't trying to show off every single thing that was added, just to give you guys an idea. Alright, I believe that is all of the new, at least, you know, in general, that's all of the new content that version 2.0 adds. Hopefully this gives you an idea of just how much stuff has been added here, how much time has gone into this update. So like I said earlier, Patreon beta is going on currently. Will be probably for another week to 2 weeks or so. Then be the Steam public beta, and then the full release sometime in December. What I'd like to get some feedback from you guys as far as how you want to see me tackling version 2.0 content. So right now, in the main series, as of recording, you know, me recording it, I think we got a video coming out tomorrow that'll be just finishing up the Grand Gallery. But I am not sure if I should start doing version 2.0 stuff on that playthrough, or if I should save it for the next. I've surrendered to the idea that I will be doing another full playthrough of this game on YouTube. I'm expecting it to not take as long, but I'm going to be doing all of the remixes, probably not randomized equipment, and we will be dabbling in a few of the challenges. I think I'll have on at least learn any skill, probably even rewards just for convenience, and then maybe some of these I'll enable, like more foe resistance, just for like a bit. I don't want to, you know, make it too crazy, because basically when the full release comes out, I will be doing another Twitch playthrough of the full game with pretty much every challenge enabled and all of the remixes enabled, including the equipment randomized. So I'm really scared of that. That playthrough is going to take a very long time, I'm sure, because that's going to be a really tough run. I'm not looking to do anything that challenging here on YouTube, but you know, I'm gonna give you guys some new content. So basically, in that, I'll be showing off all of the new card locations, all of the new arcade rooms, as well as going through all of the data bunker, battle arena, library stuff. You know, I'll find a way to pace it out. But I'm curious if you guys want to see me cover anything in version 2 on this first playthrough, or if you just want to see it through as the game is right now. I'm leaning towards the second, because in reality I have like 6 videos of content left, and I'd like to save the version 2.0 stuff for its own playthrough, where it can, you know, where it's kind of the focus is going through the game and seeing everything that's different, as opposed to just, you know, going back and running a victory lap through all the new content after I've already beaten the whole game, basically. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of that, if you have any other suggestions for how you'd like to see me address it. Those are kind of my thoughts on the matter. I've been hemming and hawing a lot about it, just thinking about the most cohesive way to cover it, and, you know, basically what you guys would like to see. I appreciate the feedback, as always. I'm really excited to start covering this. I don't know when the YouTube playthrough will start. Truthfully, I wouldn't mind taking a bit of a break from this game, you know, play a little bit of something else if I can find a quick game to power through, or just something, return to something, I'm not sure. But I've been playing this game for over a year, you know, 2 or 3 uploads a week. So I want to try and find a way to get a bit of variety mixed in. But I'm very excited to be playing version 2.0 for you guys, both on Twitch and on YouTube. Check me out on Twitch. I am currently, if you're interested in version 2.0 stuff now, I am currently streaming. I'm basically doing exactly what I said I don't want to do on YouTube, which is going back and, you know, on my stream save, just going back and getting all this stuff. I think my next plan is actually to start working through the data bunker. I think I'll be starting that this Friday. Tonight, I will be trying some Legend of Bumbo, which is a candidate for something I might pick up on YouTube, potentially, as a bit of a break game. But yeah, check me out on Twitch if you want to see version 2.0 content sooner rather than later. And also if you want to follow the next full playthrough I'll be doing on Twitch, which is going to be a doozy, and I will probably need a lot of you guys' help with that one. Check the Discord. We got an EBF channel, in there. We got Omega Sentinel, who's like one of the head mods in the EBF Discord. We got a lot of the EBF Discord regulars that hang out over there. A lot of cool people. I love keeping in touch with you guys. They always help me with, you know, these videos, you know, help me plan stuff out for YouTube. But yeah, that's all I got. Can't think of anything else in particular I wanted to cover. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.